Yeah, I'll share the link. Just wait for a moment.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, here in this file, how to save it, ma'am? I mean, yesterday I have practiced that some things which you have explained. How to save that, ma'am?
Just do Control S and it will get saved. Anyway, it does an auto save, but even otherwise, if you do Control S, you will see saved 1 second ago.
There's
Okay,
a
ma'am.
save icon under that file option on the left side.
That is also there. This also you can click.
Ma'am, I have given the Control S, but where I can get the file, ma'am? Like
The
where in the which path it will save? How I will get to know?
you see, if you go to the previous tab, can you see this Home tab?
Yes, ma'am.
So if you go there, you can see where you have saved it.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah, ma'am. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Yeah, right.
Ma'am, when we executing the code using print statement, below it was not giving the reference code line, ma'am. But when we using the type X and type Z, it was giving the reference line number.
This one.
Yeah,
In
yes,
this.
ma'am. For printex, and after executing the code, it was not giving referring the line number like 9.
That is okay. See this. See the difference here is X is being printed by Jupyter Notebook, and printex is getting printed by Python, right? So anything Python does, you won't see any additional reference number. It doesn't matter. It's just a number. So anything Jupyter does, you will see one extra thing here.
Yes. Like I had another doubt, like yesterday I saved the file and today I referenced like printex, it was not giving the answer, it was displaying error.
That is because X is not there. So when you reopen your file after some time, you have to do kernel, then restart and run all cells. Or you have to run them manually. See,
Yeah,
now
okay.
if I do this printx, I'll get an error, right? So
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
that is because this line of code is not executed. So yesterday I executed, but my kernel would have died. So again, a new process will start. So now I have
Again,
again, I have to start from the beginning, or whatever I want, I can execute. So what you can do is you can say kernel restart and run all cells. Say restart. So automatically all the things. So whenever you see a star inside this, it means code is getting executed.
yeah, okay.
Okay. Yeah, see, all of you, I will share the drive link again at the end. I have already shared today also. So please wait till the end. I will share the drive link again. Okay. All right, I think we can start. So yesterday we had just looked at how to operate this Jupyter Notebook. Some shortcuts we saw, and we just created some variables, right? So before we move on to new variable types, we'll see what all operations we can perform, right? So we can quickly try it and then move on, right? So we said if you have numeric data, you can perform arithmetic operations. So let's say I have x is equal to 10.
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, yesterday, as far as Boolean type is concerned, here in the 10th statement, you press Z.
Ah.
Instead of Z, if I write it as print parenthesis Z, whether it will work or not,
It will
because
work.
I'm getting error.
What is the error?
Name error, and then it is giving name print is not defined.
You have given capital P or something.
Yes, capital P is there.
It should be small p.
Okay.
Hello.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yesterday I saved the file in under users Python. Yeah, how can I open that? I think I'm open using with Chrome, but
You have to open Jupyter Notebook.
okay. Before that, I need to open the Jupyter Notebook, right?
I told you yesterday, directly you cannot open it. You have to open Jupyter Notebook. From
Okay.
there, you have to open the file.
Ma'am.
So,
Good afternoon, ma'am. Actually, yesterday I didn't attend the class. Can you show me how to open Jupyter Notebook?
did you install Anaconda and all?
No, ma'am.
Then how to do that? It will take some time to install Anaconda. So what you can do is you can watch it and install, and then
Ma'am, I just saw, but there is no recording for the yesterday's class, ma'am.
it will be available now, probably.
Okay, ma'am. Sure. I'll do it. Thank
Yeah.
you, ma'am.
It takes some 15, more than 20 minutes to install that.
Okay, ma'am.
What you can do is you can use Colab, Google Colab to, if you want to work along. So just
Google Colab, ma'am.
go to Google, open Chrome and search for Google Colab. And click on this welcome and new notebook. But only thing is this will get saved on your drive, so you'll have to take it from there.
Okay, ma'am. Done.
Yeah, so you can type here. Whatever
Okay.
whatever I am typing, you can type here and it will work.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So let's quickly try out the arithmetic operations. So I have given x is 10 and y is 3. So I can perform addition x plus y.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, yesterday I already installed Anaconda Navigator, but Jupyter Notebook is not working. It's double click on Jupyter, its window will pop up and suddenly it's closed.
That we have to see. Some issue must be there. We have to check what it is. We'll probably check it at the end of the session. You
Okay,
can
ma'am.
you can also use Colab like I just mentioned.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah, because it will take some time. It could be any issue. All right. So subtraction x minus y, multiplication and division. And we saw modulo division. So 10 divided by 3, the remainder should be 1. And the floor division, right? So 3.33, if you floor it, it will be 3. And like we saw yesterday, if you say minus x by y, if you floor it, sorry, double slash. If you floor it, it will be minus 4, right? So these are the different arithmetic operations you can perform. So you don't have to do this. It's simple enough, right? Subtraction.
Ma'am,
Ah,
when we define x is equals to 10, it will override the existing value.
it will override the existing value. Division. This is modulo division. This is floor division. And we saw power also, right? So if you want to get the power, so x raised to the power of y, right? So 10 to the power of 3. So that should be 1000, right? So this is how you can perform all arithmetic operations.
मैम
Then
मॉड्यूलर डिवीजन क्या है?
you didn't attend yesterday?
I forgot, ma'am.
This will give you the remainder of the operation. If you divide 10 by 3, the remainder is 1.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So now Boolean operations. So Boolean operations can be performed on Boolean type data. So I'll say A is equal to true. Be careful about capital. If you give small, it will say you will get an error, right? So B is equal to true. Or let's say false.
Can you give time, ma'am, to execute these commands?
This I think, do you want to do this?
Yes, ma'am. Give me time, ma'am, like you were telling Julian also likes.
Okay, I thought this. All right, go ahead.
Okay,
Come.
ma'am. Give me for at least 2 minutes, ma'am.
But from next thing onwards, I will give you time. This was simple enough. Anyway, go ahead.
Okay.
Let me know once you're done.
Ma'am, is it necessary to provide space between operators and characters?
No, it is not. It's only for readability.
मैम हैश के बाद स्पेस देना है या नहीं देना है?
No, that is what he was asking. It's just for readability. It's better to give. It's not necessary.
हैश देने के बाद अरिथमेटिक ऑपरेशन देने के बाद शिफ्ट एंटर कर रहा हूँ तो ये नहीं हो रहा है, हेडिंग नहीं हो रहा है, वो कमांड में ही रह रहा है।
Shift enter is not working. So try once again, shift and enter.
नहीं मैम,
Ma'am, after hash, space should be
No, that is not necessary.
there.
मैम
Around what is taken.
मैम एक बार फिर से करके दिखाओगे क्या हो?
You won't be able to see, like shift and enter. What I am doing, you won't be able to see.
नहीं, अरिथमेटिक ऑपरेशन का जो कमांड दिया है ना आपका है, वो
Oh,
दिखाओगे क्या एक बार?
okay. Here you have to give space.
You need to set it as a markdown, then it will work.
Did you set it as markdown?
नो मैम,
That's why.
Yes.
यस ओके।
Yeah, people, I will share the drive link at the end of the class. Please wait.
Ma'am, excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, share my screen, ma'am? Like Google Colab's not working this heading function, like you are entering code, right?
You probably didn't give, no, you have to open it as a markdown cell. Okay. Share, I'll show you.
But right here, ma'am, like here not.
So there, when you're opening a new cell,
Yes, ma'am.
can you place it somewhere? Can you see code and text? No, no, not there. No, no, no. No. Don't select.
Select cells, ma'am.
No, no, don't select.
Okay.
Just, can you move your cursor around? Okay. You stop. I'll show it on my system.
Where, ma'am?
Stop. No, no, you stop sharing. I'll show on my screen. So if you're using Colab, then here when you move your cursor, can you see two things, code and text? So if you want a markup cell, you have to create a text cell. So there you have to type.
Okay, okay.
Okay. Otherwise, by default, it will create a code cell only. Have you done this?
Done, ma'am.
Okay. Anybody else facing issues? How to set up Jupyter Notebook? So you can't set that up separately. Whatever you have set as your default browser on your system, that is what Jupyter Notebook also will use. You can't separately set it up for that. One thing you can do is, once you open this, see, you would see this HTTP localhost. This you can copy and paste it on a Chrome thing. You can copy this and paste it on Chrome and it will open on Chrome. Once you open on other things, other browser, right? So that also you can try. If you don't want to change your system default. All right, so these are your simple arithmetic operations. So for Boolean operation, I have taken two variables, A and B. So A I have taken as true and B as false. So I can do A and B. So true and false will return false. If I want to use OR operation, I can say A or B. Right, so this will return true. And if I want to do NOT operation, I can say not A, right? So A is true. So not A will be false and not B will be true. So usually this and OR are used to combine two conditions, right? So we have X and Y, right? So X is 10 and Y is 3, right? So I can check X greater than 3 and Y greater than 2. So here I'm checking two conditions, right? So this is one condition. This is another condition. This evaluates to true. This also evaluates to true. So true and true will return true. So if I say Y greater than 10, this condition will become false, right? So true and false will become false. So usually your AND conditions are used to, you don't need brackets, but it's better to give brackets to make it more clear and avoid confusions. So condition 1 and condition 2, right? So this is how we will be using our Boolean operations. So if you want, you can try this. No, you shouldn't close it. What is running in the background is the Jupyter server, right? So that server has to be running in the backend. So that should not be closed. If you close it, this will also not work.
Ma'am, can you scroll a little bit up, ma'am?
Still up.
No, ma'am, it's enough.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
can you explain about the not function? It's like a opposite value or the same value. If we have true, it's gonna say false. It's like a opposite value. The not function is used for.
Not will reverse it. Yeah, it's the opposite function.
Okay.
So A is true. So not A means false. Not true is false.
Okay.
Hmm. Okay, done. Can we move on?
Ma'am, can you explain that A and B and A or B? What is that mean?
What is that?
Like A is equal to, you have told like true, ma'am. You mentioned true, right? So
Ah.
B is equal to false, right?
Ah,
So A and B in the sense it will take the condition 1 and condition 2, ma'am.
yeah, true and false.
So
So
it will be like a true and false. The result will be getting false. I mean, like is how it's like a. Is there any table or a rule kind of thing, ma'am?
you didn't attend yesterday?
Attended, ma'am. I mean, like true or false, it will come false for that reason, ma'am.
Yeah, the truth table we had written yesterday, no? That
Okay.
is
Okay, ma'am. Got it.
the regular and operations. Can we move on?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. I think I didn't save yesterday's notes, what we had written. All right. So, so if you remember yesterday we had talked about the data types, right? And how to name variables and all that. So we talked about data types. Remind me to save this notes, okay? So you can refer to it later. So here we talked about basic types. So yesterday that is all we had discussed, right? So the basic types. So here we talked about numeric types, right? So the first type that we saw was numeric. And here we said there are two types, integral types and non-integral. So in integral type, we have integer. Yeah.
Whole numbers.
Whole numbers, right? So whole numbers. So here we have integer type. Here we have float type. So we also saw there is something called complex, although we won't be using it. Right? So float is for fractions and integer is for whole numbers. Fractions and whole numbers. And complex types are of type x plus iy. Right, so this is the real part and the imaginary part, which we don't need. So we won't work with it, right? So this is the basic numeric types. And we saw with the numeric types, we can perform arithmetic operations, which is what we saw today, right? Addition, subtraction, multiplication. And then Boolean types. So Boolean types internally are represented as integers, right? But still, for our convenience, they have defined two variables, which is true and false, which has to be written exactly like this, true/false. And with Boolean, we can perform Boolean operations and or and not, right? There are other things also you can do, but we don't need it that much, like XOR, NOR and all that. But we don't need that. So now, so these are basic types. And then we talked about what is a variable, how to name a variable and all that. So when we talk about basic types, so what happens is you can only put one value into a variable if it is a basic data type, right? So if you say x is equal to 10, sorry, what did I do? You say x is equal to 10. So what happens is a container is created inside which you can put this 10. This container is given a name x, and the container also has a data type which is int, right? So variable we saw has a name and a data type associated with it. Data type associated with it, and the basic types are integer, float, and Boolean. So these can hold only single values at a time. But there will be scenarios where you want to put multiple values, right? For example, if you want to store marks of students. So I have two classes. In class 1, I have 7 students, and in class 2, I have 12 students. So how will I store their marks? I can say M1 is equal to something, M2 is equal to something, like this M7. And then again from M8, for the other class, I have to store 12 numbers. So M19. So this becomes very cumbersome, right? So it is like I have to keep so many variables separately. So what happens is we need more complex containers. It's not enough to have containers which can hold one value at a time, right? So basic types or basic data types can hold only one value at a time. So in order to solve these problems, right, so where we have to keep multiple things together, we have what are called collection types. So collections are data types which can hold multiple values at the same time. So here again, there are different types of collections, right? So the first type that we will be seeing are called sequences. Sequence types. Then we have mapping types. And then we have set type. So we will focus on sequence and mapping. Set is kind of, we won't use it that much. So I'll keep it as low priority. If time permits, we will see, right? So otherwise we won't. So what is a sequence? A sequence is a set of, it's just like in English, right? So what do we mean by sequence? A sequence of things, a set of values. So you can think of a sequence like this. So it's like multiple containers put together. So this will be one variable. So I can create a sequence type called marks. And inside this, I can put the marks of all students from first class. Right, so 74, 56. And then I can say marks 2. I can create another sequence which can hold 12 values. So now it becomes easy to handle, right? So I know all marks of first classes in this variable and the marks of students from the other classes in this variable, right? So this is what we call a sequence. So basically a set of values, a sequence of values, a series of values put one after the other. So there are different types of sequences, right? So here basically you have what is called a mutable type and you have immutable types. So what do we mean? What are mutable types? Under mutable types, you have what is called the list data type. And under immutable, you have tuple and a string. We will talk about what is mutable, immutable, and all a little later. But first, let us understand these three types of sequences. Right? So they are all sequences. Sequence means one value after the other. But there are differences. And some things are similar because they are all sequence. But some things are different because you have different data types. So let us see what is common among all sequences. Right? So common properties of all sequences. When you say all sequences, whatever we are going to talk about applies to a list, a tuple, and a string. But before that, how to create a list? Right? So if I want to create a simple integer variable, I will just say x is equal to something. But if I want to create a list, right? So I have to say, I have to give the values within square brackets. So I have 45, 64, 76, 55, 40. So anything you give within square brackets, this will be treated as a list. And don't give variable names as list because this is a data type, right? So even if you give, it will not complain, but don't use this as a variable name, right? So this is a data type. So you can say L1 is equal to this, right? Similarly, how do we create a tuple? T1 is equal to, it looks similar, right? Because it's also a sequence, but it has to be given within regular brackets. So 54, 26, 75, 43. So this is a tuple, right? So anything that you create within square brackets, sorry, regular brackets is called a tuple. And the data type is the tuple data type. And the third type we saw is a string, right? So str is the data type. So you can say S1 or my string. So anything you give within quotes, right? So it can be single quote, it can be double quote, right? So single quote is possible, double quotes are possible. You have something called triple quotes, or you have triple double quotes, right? So this is also fine. 3 double quotes. So anything given within this is a string, right? So anything given within quotes is considered to be a string. This is the data type str. So don't give name as str. So this is how you can create the different data types. A list is created by giving square brackets, right? So let us try this here. So I will call this sequence types. So first I'll create a list, right? So I can say LST is equal to, within square brackets, I can give some numbers. Okay, so now if I see what is the type of LST, it will say this is an object of type list. Similarly, if I want to create a tuple, I could say tup is equal to 19, 20, 84, 36, 77. So I've given square regular brackets. And if I see what is the type of TUP, it will say it is a tuple. And how do I create a string? I can say S1 is equal to, within quotes, I'm saying S1. So type of S1 is a string. Right? So this is how you can create the 3 data types. You can quickly try it and check the data type.
Hello.
Yeah,
Ma'am, what is difference between list and tuple?
list is mutable, tuple is immutable.
इसका मतलब क्या होता है मैम?
I told you I'll explain that later. For the moment, let us understand this.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
for normal data types also we can give with the comma separated, no?
What do you mean normal?
Like normal data type means x is equal to 5 comma 10 comma 15.
No. If you do that, it will be treated as a tuple. Right? So if you say x is, see, normal data type, if you mean basic types, it can hold only one value at a time. So if you put multiple values into it, it becomes a collection. Right? So when you say x is equal to 1, 2, 3, you are putting multiple values into it, which is not possible. This will be automatically taken as a tuple.
But we are not using rounded brackets.
By default, it will take it as, if you don't mention, it will assume it is tuple.
Yeah, okay.
Ma'am, do we need to remember to use a specific brackets type?
Yes, otherwise you won't be able to create it.
Okay. Is there any specific formula or concept to remember them easily?
Only 3 things are there. You can't remember this. What formula will be there? There's no formula.
Just for list, we need to use square one, and for tuple, bracket one curly. Then, okay.
There is so much more to come. So you will have to remember those things.
Ma'am, hello. Am I audible?
Yeah, you can ask.
Ma'am, one small doubt is there. Uh, Ma'am, wherever I am typing, na, beside that numerical number is there under the parenthesis. Okay. So, ma'am, there is a difference in that. In somewhere I am getting dot and parenthesis under that number is there, and in other type only parenthesis number is there. What is the difference?
You will have to share. I don't know what you're saying. Just share and show.
Here you can see no dot is there, and here no dot is there. Orange color and then green color. What is difference?
Can you can
It was
you
not executed, ma'am.
no. Yes, executed once, but yeah, you have made some change and then you have not executed. Can you, last line, can you type tup in the last line after 42? TUP you put? TUP. Shift enter. Actually, you have made some change, but you didn't execute. Can you go to line 37 and press shift enter? Yeah, so either you gave a space or something you did. After
Okay.
that, you didn't
Yes,
run
yes,
it. That's what it is saying.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So don't see that is, yeah, I'll share the written notes. You can stop sharing, Vivek.
Ma'am, in the list, in the open brackets, we can store the, I mean, alphabets also, ma'am, instead of numbers.
Yeah. I'll tell you. We'll do all that. Vivek, you can stop sharing. Okay. All right. So done. So this is how we can create basic list, tuple, and string, right? So now let us talk about common properties. What is common among all of this? So one important property here is, before that, right? So one thing is list and tuple are what are called heterogeneous ensembles. Sorry, heterogeneous I think heterogeneous looks too big. Okay, whatever. Sequences. So that means you can put any data type into list and tuple, right? So I can create a list L1 where I have an integer value. I can put a float value. I can have a Boolean value. I can put another list into it, right? So a list can hold another list. I can put another tuple into it. I can put a string into it, right? So it is possible to put different data types. So that is why we call it a heterogeneous sequence. See, similarly in a tuple, right? So you can put multiple values. T1 can be, right? So this is possible to put multiple values here, multiple data types here, right? But when it comes to string, right? So a string is considered to be homogeneous. So why do we call string as a sequence, right? So what is sequence? Sequence is a series of things. But here we see only one string, right? But Python does not look at it as one string. It sees it as a sequence of characters, right? So how does Python look at it? Python sees it like this. HELLO. So according to Python, this is a sequence of characters, right? So this is a sequence of characters. So that is why it comes under the sequence category. So when you say it is a sequence of characters, everything is treated as a character, right? So H is a character, E is a character. So they are all same data type. So what if you have S1, is equal to, let's say, Python 3.0. So Python will not say 3.0 is a number or even 3 is a number. According to Python, 3 is a character, dot is a character, 0 is a character, right? So this will not be treated as a numeric value. So that is why we say string is homogeneous. So everything inside this is considered to be a character type. Whereas here, Python understands this is integer, this is float, right? So this is Boolean, this is a list, this is a tuple, and this is a string. But here it will say everything is a character. It doesn't care what it is. It will say everything is a character. So that is why we call it a homogeneous sequence, right?
Which
So this is
data type, excuse me, ma'am, which
Huh.
data type does it use, if you type like which data type it will use for it will use the integer if we type is equals to like,
type of what?
like for example, we
This
have
one,
gave like, yeah, for the
type
list
of
we
L1?
have, it will show like a list is equals to integer or it will show like character, ma'am.
This is the data type of this is a list. The data type of L1 is a list. Inside the list, it has so many things. It doesn't care what is there inside. It only knows that it is a list.
List, okay.
Okay, think of this like a tray. And think of this as a plate. Whatever you keep inside this is still a tray only. Right? So similarly, whatever you put inside this thing is a list only. Okay. So, so this is the first property. The second thing is the most important thing, right? All sequences have what are called positional indexing. So what that means is Python basically remembers the order in which you put the data. So if you have a sequence, right? So I'm not saying list, tuple, or string. It can be any of that. So whatever you are creating, this will have what is called positional indexing, right? So let us say L1, I'll create a list. This is 25, 46, 34, 12, and 50. So what it will do is everything, right? So this is 25, 46, 34, 12, and 50. So Python remembers this order, right? So the order in which you have created this. So how does it remember? It will say, what was that? 25, right? So it will say, it will remember 25 is the first element that you put. 46 is the second element you put. 34 is the third element you put. So why is this important? If you want to access this data, you can ask Python, give me the element that I put third into the list. So it will return 34, right? But one thing to remember is whenever you are using Python, Python starts counting from 0 onwards, right? So everywhere it will count from 0 onwards. So this is 0th element, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And this is called the index. So 34 is the third element, but this is the element at index position 2. So when you want to access these values, you can specify which element you want, which index you want, right? Get me the element at index position 2 or 3. So this is true whether you are creating a list, a tuple, or a string, right? So let us say S1 is Python 3.0. So what is P? P will be 0th element, 1, 2, 3, 4, N is 5, 6, 7, 8. there are 8 elements inside the string. So if I want to get O, I will say, get me the element at index position 4. That will return O here, right? So all sequences have this property of positional indexing, and indexes are used to access data. How do we access data? Let me also create a tuple just to make it complete. 35, 45, 55, 65. So this will be 0th element, 1, 2, 3. Now, how to access values, right? How do we access elements from this? So to do that, we have to use square brackets. So don't get confused here. If this is used to create a list, but if you are using it along with a variable, right? So let us say I am saying L1 followed by the square bracket. Then this is used to extract values from L. Similarly, if I use it with tuple, right? So T1 followed by square bracket, then this is used to extract values from T1. Don't think because T1 is a tuple, you have to use this bracket, right? So the purpose here, when you use it along with a variable, is to extract values everywhere, right? So you should remember this even when we are looking at advanced data types like series, data frames and all, this is true. Okay, similarly, if you have a string followed by the square bracket, this again is used to extract elements from string. How do we do that? If I say L1 of 2, what are we taking? 0, 1, 2, right? So this will return 34. 34 is the element at index position 2, right? So this returns 34.
Ma'am, tuple means it will use round bracket, right?
That is what I was saying. Round bracket is to create a tuple. But if you want to extract values from tuple or string or whatever it is, you have to always use square bracket. So if you are using it on the right side, you are creating a list. But after creating a list, you want to extract values from it, use a square bracket here. After creating a tuple, if you want to extract elements from it, use a square bracket here. Right? So what is T1 of 2? T1 of 2 will return the element at index position 2, which is 55. Right? So T1 is equal to 5, 4, T2, 1. So this is for creating tuple. But after creating tuple, if you want to extract a value from T1, use a square bracket along with T1 and give the number, right? So you want, so this will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you say tuple of 1, this will return the 4th element. Similarly, if you want to extract O, what will you say? S1 of 4. So the 4th element in S1 or element at index position 4 will be O, right? So this is what it will return. Are we clear how to access values? Let's try this out. Right, so I will access. Let's create a mixed tuple, mixed string. Right, so let me create a mixed list where you have different data types. Right, so this is equal to, we have 10, 2.5, then true, then hello, then we'll put another list into it. and we'll put another tuple into it. Right, so 20, 20, 30, 40, 50. So this is a mixed list. So let me print it and we'll also look at the type of it, right? So mixed list, sorry. So this is our list. And if you see what is the type of mixed list, it will say it is a list, right? So this is a list which contains many values in it. Similarly, a tuple, right? So I just need to change the bracket and this will become a tuple. So let's print it. Okay, so this is how you can create list, tuple, and string, right? So now let us see how to access values. So access values from sequences. This also I'll put under tuple because this is another way to create a tuple, right? So where you don't have to specifically give a bracket. If you just give a commas, it will automatically consider it as a tuple. Type of X. And so that will be a tuple. All right. So let's see how to access values. I'll take this list, or let's take this list. Right. Or we'll take this list also. So now if I want to get, let's say 87 out of it, what should I say? How will I get 87?
List of 3, ma'am.
3,
4, ma'am.
4, 0,
3.
1, 3, right? So you have to start counting from 0. Sorry, list of 3 will give you 87. If I want to get hello, again 3, right? So 0, 1, 2, 3, right? So mixed list of 3 will return hello. Right, so same for a tuple. Let's have a string, right? So S1 is equal to Python 3.o. So if I want O, I have to say 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. From S1, get me the element at position 4. Similarly, if you have a tuple, let's take a tuple. If I want 36 or 20, or let's say I want 19, what should I do? If I want 19,
0.
0.
Zeroth element. Right. So it is the 0th element. So remember, square bracket is always used for extracting when you use it along with the variable, right? So irrespective of what data type it is. So now tell me, I want to access this 66. How can I get this? How is it numbered?
Mixed list of 4, 2.
4, 5, right? So first we will take the 4th element. So what will this give me? The 4th element will be a tuple, a list. right? So this is the fourth element. So from the fourth element, if I want to get 66, what should I say? If this is X, I will say 0, 1, 2. So what is this X? This X is actually mixed list of 4. So I have to replace this mixed list of 4 followed by this 2, right? So what we are saying is, if you say mixed list of 4, this returns, mixed list of 4. This returns a list. So this is that list. So from a list, if you want to take second element, third element and all, what you will do, you will give a square bracket and the second element. Right? So this is, if you think of this as a list X, then what you will say, from X, get me 2. Right? So 2 square brackets will come. So this will give you the list. And from that, you can extract this. So now how can I access E? Tell me how to get E.
Mixed list of 3, 1.
Okay, let us see. Mixed list of 3. Will give me hello. And from that, I want the element at position 1. Okay, so this is how you can access. Line 52, what is there in line 52? What is there in 52? I don't see 52. This one. Yeah, what is that to explain? I have just created a string. Ritesh, what is the doubt? All right. 52 and 53. See, this is taken as a series of characters. String is also a sequence. So this is the element at 0th position. 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I say from string, get me the element at index position 4, it will give O. Right, so always remember this, a string is also considered to be a sequence of characters. Don't think of it as one value. That is how Python sees it. Okay, yeah. So this is how you can access values when you have a nested list. If you have a list within a list or a tuple within a list, then first get it out and from that you can take whatever value you want, right? So this is how you can access one value at a time. But you can also access multiple values at the same time, right? So for example, I might want to take, let's say 46 to 12, or let me have one more. Let's have a bigger list. So I have a list like this. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 11, 24, 36, 56, 74, 25, 53, 12, 90, 70, right? So this is, let's give the numbers here. This will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So now let us say I want to take values from 56 to 53. So this is called a slice, right? So this is a slice of this list. We want to take a slice out of the list. So to do that, I have to say starting from 3, going up to 6, right? So if you want to get up to 6, you have to specify 7. So this is one peculiarity of Python, right? Whenever you want to access a series of values, the end value always you should say 1 more than what you actually want. So if you want up to 5, you should say 6. Starting is 5, right? So starting you can say 3, but if you want to take up to 6, you have to say 7. So this will return a slice of it, 56, 74, 25, 53. Right, so this is called slicing sequence. So let's take our list. I will add a few more values to it. I'll call it ls1. Let's add some more. 77, 43, 39, 80, right? So this is reasonably big. So now I want to take from 87 to 80. Can you tell me what I have to give? I want from 87 to 80. What should I mention?
4 to
3 to 8,
8,
ma'am.
ma'am.
3 to 8.
3 to 8,
3
right?
to 8.
0, 1,
Okay,
2,
3 to 8.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I have to say 8, right? So I'll say ls1, start from 3 and go up to 8. So that will give me 87 to 80. If you leave out the starting, then it will assume that you want to start from the beginning. So if I say this 5, so starting from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So up to 77, it will give me. Similarly, if you leave out the ending, it will go up to end, right? So 5 colon, and I leave it out. It will start from 43 and it will go up to the end. If you don't specify starting or ending, it means all the elements. You don't have to really do that. You can just say ls1 and you'll get the entire thing. But just to show you, if you leave out the beginning and the ending, it will assume you want to start at the beginning and go till the end. Okay. So this is called slicing a list. So not only list, right? So all sequences. So let's say I have a string s2 which says I love Python. So if I want to take out love from this, can you take love out of this?
Yes, ma'am.
Remember your space is also a character.
Yes, 2 to 6, ma'am.
2, 3, 4, 5, right? So we will go from 0, 1, 2 to 6. So S2, 2 colon 6, right? So that will take out love from this. Okay. So this is what we call slicing. So one more thing that is probably not very useful. The thing is, just like you have forward indexing, there is also negative indexing available, right? So how does forward indexing work? You will say 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Similarly, this is also called -1, -2, -3. Usually not used, but 2 things you can do with this. One, you can get the last element. So it doesn't matter how big your list is. You need not know how many elements are there. Otherwise, if I want to get 50, I should know there are 5 elements. And so I have to give 4. But any list, it doesn't matter how many elements are there. If I say list, from list get me -1, it means get me the last element. Right? So it doesn't matter what list or what tuple it is. If you are interested in getting the last element, just say -1. Similarly, you can say element from the end. Right? So if you want to mention element from the end rather than the beginning. So you want the third element from the end. So what you will say, from list, get me the third element from the end. So that will be 34. So you can call 34 as LST of 2, or you could say LST of -3. Right? So negative indexing, there is no -0, so it starts from -1. So this is also possible. Right? So this is one thing to keep in mind. Although we don't use it that often. Let's see that. Negative indexing. So do I have LS1? Okay, LS1. So I don't know how many elements are there in LS1, right? So I'll just say LS1 of -1 and it will give me the last element. If I want the third element from the end, LS1 of -3, right? So this is the third element from the end, right? So negative indexing is also supported. Okay, so that is about positional indexing, right? So the next property is, there are 3 common properties. First one, these two are heterogeneous. This is homogeneous. Then all 3 have what is called positional indexing. And the next thing, they are all iterable or iterable, however you want to pronounce it. What do you mean by iterable or iterable? You can access elements one by one. Elements one by one. In SQL also you would have learned for loop, so not for loops, while loop, repeat loop, right? So those you might have learned. So here we will be using what is called a for loop to access elements one by one from a list or a tuple or a string. So let's say I have a list which is, let's say I have a shopping list, right? So I want apples, I want rice, I want butter, I want jam. So if I want to take one element at a time from this, I can iterate over this, right? So I'll say for some variable name, right? So let me call it X in list. Right? So now I can do whatever I want. I'll just print X. Right? So I'll just print the value that I've just extracted. So what will happen? X will first take the value apples. Right? So how many times it will iterate? How many times it will go through this thing? It depends on how many elements are there in list. So here you don't have to specify a stopping condition and all. It will automatically stop when you finish going through the list. So in this case, this loop will be executed 4 times. And what do you want to do multiple times? Only one activity you have mentioned, that is print X. If you want to do 2 things, you will say print high. So now what will happen? Print X and print high will be executed 4 times. So how does Python know how many what do you say, statements have to be executed multiple times? It relies on the spacing, right? Anything that you mention after 4 by giving a tab space is considered to be part of this.
Like printing A also like this only, ma'am. Like A also A getting A counting like this only.
Sorry.
Like I can put in this value like X is there, right?
Ah,
I can put A means like the
It's
how
just
can
a
we say?
variable, right? You can call it X, Y, A, B,
Okay.
anything you want.
Okay, ma'am. A count will be coming, right?
Sorry.
Ma'am, like here print X is put right?
Ah,
Like if I put A means what is the output, right?
instead of X, you want to use A.
Yes, ma'am.
Here you will say print A. So what happens during the first iteration? First time, X will have the value apples.
Yes, ma'am.
So when you say print X, apples will be printed. So if you say A here, then A will take the value apples and print A will print apples. It's just a variable.
Okay.
Ma'am, but we didn't assign the A as apples, B as rice like that, ma'am. How come it will take
It will automatically do that because you are saying use X to iterate over the list.
Ma'am, here jam also A is there, right, ma'am? This one counting, right?
Counting means what?
Like jam also A is there. Like this list will be counting, right?
We are not counting A. Why are you saying A? I didn't get it. Okay, let me explain what it is, then you ask, right? So when you say for X in list, what will happen? During the first loop, X will take the value apples. It's like saying X is equal to apples. So print X, apples will be printed and high will be printed. During the second iteration, X will take the value rice. So when you say print X, rice will be printed followed by high. Then during the third iteration, X will take the value butter and print X will print butter and a high. And during the last iteration, X will take the value jam, print X will print jam. And it will stop. It will not execute it anymore. It will continue with the rest of the statements. Is that fine? Now tell me what is your doubt?
Ma'am, for example, if I want butter, how can I do it, ma'am?
No, this is, see, our intention here is not to take out one value. The idea of iterating over this is when you want to take all elements one by one from this and do something. If you want to take only butter, you don't need to iterate, no? You can just say LST of 2.
Okay.
Right? So what is the purpose of iteration? When you want to access elements one by one from the list, not just one element. So for example, if you have marks, you want to take elements one by one from the mark and you want to calculate the grades. So what you will do? You will iterate over this. You will iterate over this and within the loop, you will write the code to calculate the grade for that particular mark.
Okay,
So
ma'am.
iteration basically means taking one element at a time from the list and performing some operation on it.
Okay, ma'am. And one more doubt, ma'am. For example, if I create a tuple as T1 and again I have created tuple as a T1, it will be possible, ma'am, with the same name.
Yeah, it is possible.
But when we are executing the formula, which tuple it will take, ma'am? For example, if I want to extract
the last one, whatever you executed last, that is what will be there in the memory.
Okay, but if I want to execute, I mean, if I want to consider it first one means how can it will be? Ma'am?
Then why do you want to give the same name to that? Create a different tuple, no?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's my point. Okay, got it.
Yeah. Okay. So, if you have done SQL, then probably you would see something like loop, my loop. And then you will write all the things that you need to do, and you will say end loop. Right, so end loop, my loop. So here you know everything that you give within loop and my loop has to be executed multiple times. Right, so this will be executed repeatedly. But here we don't have anything. We don't have end loop. We don't have bracket. If you see, what do you say? So if you see C++, Java and all, you will have some flower braces. So everything you give within flower braces has to be repeated multiple times. But here we don't have anything like that, right? So we don't have an end loop. We don't have a bracket. How do you know which all have to be executed multiple times? It is only based on the space. So this spacing, right? So this tab space is very, very important when you do Python, right? So when you're writing Python code, this spacing is very important. So these 2 lines of code will be executed 4 times, right? So let me show you the difference. Let's create a shopping list and let's iterate over it, right? So the third property is sequences are iterable. So I'll create a shopping list. I'll call it shop_list. So here I want apples. What else? I wanted rice. I want butter. I want jam. I want shampoo. And I want a pen. Right, so this is my shopping list. So now how do I iterate over this? I'll say for X in shop_list. So instead of calling X, it is customary to call it element. Right, so this makes more, it's only more readable. You can call it anything you want. You can say for item in this, for element in this. So element will contain the value apples first, elim will, or let me call it X only. I don't want to confuse you. So now if I press enter, you can see automatically the cursor is not going to the end of the line. It is standing somewhere in between. Right, so that is where I have to print X. Again, if I enter, it stands directly below P. Right, so here I will print hi. And now I will say here, I will say print, and I'll print a line. I'll print a line. So now which all lines of code will be executed multiple times? Only these 2 lines. Right, so this will be executed how many times? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. And then it will come out and it will print a line only 1 time. So how does Python know which has to be executed multiple times? It will look at the space. Right, so everything which is given with after a tab below for will be executed multiple times. So here you don't have that space. If I move this inside, if I do this, now what will happen? This, and this will be executed so many times. So spacing is very, very important. Right, so let me try this first.
Madam, usually how many spaces?
1 tab space.
Yeah. Okay.
Press tab, that is what it will take. So X is apples, hi, print line, right? Then next iteration, X is rice, then hi and line. Third iteration, butter, hi and line, right? So jam, hi and line, shampoo, hi and line, pen, hi and line. If I move this outside, now what will happen? Only X and hi will be printed multiple times. This line will be printed only 1 time. right? So this is very, very important. And if this doesn't match, right? So even if it is one space not matching, you will get an error. So this line has to be perfectly aligned. So spacing is very, very important when it comes to Python. You can try this.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
yeah, how you are like changing sequence this one bold, a header, bold.
Give a hash and a space, and whatever you type in markup, it will come.
Then what we are doing? Just coming blue.
Then execute it, shift and enter.
Okay.
Let me know once you finish.
We are done.
Done? Okay. Fine. So this is, okay, let us try it for a string also, right? So I'll say str, or str better not to use, st1 is equal to Python 3.0. So what will happen if I iterate over this?
In the line-wise sequence, each word will display.
Each letter will display.
Ma'am,
Ah,
I will try to solve list, but if I enter the shift enter, the error is occurred ki cell number 16, line 1. Syntax error is cannot assign to expression here. Maybe you meant is equal to instead of is equal. Means I one time is enter is equal.
sure.
Okay, ma'am.
Somebody else is asking how spacing is working for line. I didn't get your question. Anyway, let me see. S case. You name, right? So you cannot give a hyphen. Remember, yesterday we talked about naming. Only
In the
underscore and alphabets and numbers are allowed. So it should be shop underscore list.
okay, 8 points. Yes, ma'am. Done. Thank you.
Yeah, Tushar, what is the question? Print. You will get line at the bottom because of the spacing of this. See, if you give, let me mute everyone. See, if you move this, if you move this here, then this is part of your for loop and this will get printed multiple times. But if you move it outside, then this is not part of the loop. So this will get executed multiple times, then it will come here and it will print this one time. I think that's what you are asking. Yeah. Fine.
No, I'm getting error. Shop list is not defined when running.
You check the spelling and all and see whether you executed it. Within the brackets, there should be a number. I think you just typed it.
Ma'am, are you saying if you one time a tab space in print X and next I enter to the same space he already generated, but he not getting, ma'am. And I'm next time if I enter, then tab is manually pressed to space, ma'am.
Yes. I think you didn't give a colon probably. Let us see. Okay. Place your cursor after high. Press enter. Not shift enter, just enter.
Yes, ma'am.
Spelling mistake, madam. FOE.
Yeah. You have to give for.
Oh, yes.
That's why. Now, if you place your cursor after high, it will understand. And shop list
Yes,
is also.
ma'am.
And shop list is also wrong. There is a space after shop or accent shop underscore list. No,
Shop.
next one. Next cell.
Is referring to line number 18, command line 18.
Cell number 18, first line. Shop underscore list. There shouldn't be any space.
Yeah.
Yeah, now you can execute.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Stop. So now if I do this, again, what are the elements inside ST1? P, Y, T, H. So one letter at a time, it will print. Right? For X in ST1, print X. So it will take one element at a time and it will print it. Right? So all sequences are iterable. They can be iterated one element at a time. So now, when we talked about numeric values, right? So we said it's possible to do all arithmetic operations and all. But when it comes to a list or a tuple or a string, you cannot perform arithmetic operations. You cannot add two lists. You can't add two strings. You can't multiply one list with another list. Right? But plus and star are supported, but they will do a different operation. So for example, if you say L1, right? So L1 is equal to 1, 2, 3, and L2 is equal to 4, 5, 6. So now if you say L1 plus L2, right? So it won't do addition, but it will just attach these two together, right? So plus sign basically means concatenation. Concatenation. It will concat two sequences. It won't perform numeric addition. So similarly, I can say S1 is equal to hello and S2 is equal to world. Right. So if I say S1 plus S2, these two will get attached one after the other. So although there is a plus symbol, it won't perform arithmetic operations. It won't do 4 plus 1, 5 plus 2 and all. It will just attach things together. Similarly, if you use multiplication, right? So if you multiply a list with a number, it will only repeat it, right? So repetition. So let's say, I don't want that. Let's say S1 is equal to hello, right? So we anyway have hello. Hello. So now if I say S1 into 3, so this will be hello, 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 right? So if I say L1 is equal to 1, 2, 3, and L1 into 3 into 3, right? So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So it will just repeat it. So star is for repetition and plus is for concatenation. You cannot perform any arithmetic operation on list or a tuple or a string. So this you can use to create a line, right? What will this do? If I say print, what do you think will happen?
Underscore 50.
And this will create a line for you. We want a smaller line, right? So you can use this to print a line. So this is what happens when you do try arithmetic operations on this. Finally, there are some common methods like length, right? So length will tell you how many elements are there in your list. So in my LST, do I have an LST? Okay. What is there in LST? This is my LST. How many elements are there? There are 11 elements. Right. So if you see tup, and if you see what is the length of tup, there are 5 elements in it. And ST1 is Python 3.0. If you say length of ST1, it will say there are 9 characters inside it. Right. So length is used to find the number of elements. Then you can find the maximum, minimum, right? So I can say max of LST. So what is the maximum value inside this? It is 90. So it will give you the maximum value. Similarly for a tuple. So the maximum value inside the tuple is 84. For a string, it doesn't make any sense, right? But it will go with the alphabetical value. So y is the last value. So y will be taken as the maximum, right? So it doesn't make much sense when you use it with the string. Similarly, you can find the minimum, right? So here only or let's say min of LST. So 34 is the smallest value in LST. And in a tuple, it's 19, right? So min of tup. And min of ST1, again, it works on internal ASCII values. So dot has the minimum ASCII value, right? So maximum and minimum are usually not used on string values, but it is possible, right? So these are all the common things that you can do with all the sequences. So tomorrow we'll talk about what is special about list, what is special about tuple, what all can you do with the list, what all can you do with the tuple, what all you can do with the string, right? And then we will move on to other data types also. So I'll save this in your drive. I'll share the drive link. And if you're missing classes, please go through previous sessions and come. Otherwise, it becomes difficult if you have to say the same things again and again, right? So I'll just overwrite this. So this will now have all the new values in it. And if you want this Blackboard, I can share that. Sequence underscore notes.
One thing I wanted to check, like when we are going to learn about that library.
Which library?
Python library only, NumPy, Panda.
Python is not a library. There are libraries in Python. So we
No,
will
that only, like inside Python only the library which we have when we are going to learn.
we'll learn one by one. Let us see. And so I don't know at what speed we'll be going, but we'll see it one after the other.
So which all library are we going to cover here?
We'll see pandas, matplotlib, Seaborn, regular expressions.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, Python maximum of 1 week or 2 weeks, ma'am?
It's supposed to be only 6 days. So we need to go a little, we are going very slowly, but yeah, let's see. I'll ask for some extra classes. So maximum 8 to 9 classes, we'll finish it off.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you can share. Okay, somebody was asking. Let me share the drive link. And please, what do you say? Bookmark this so that I don't have to share every day. People are only interested in the drive link. They don't want to attend classes. Yeah, I've shared. So yeah, Sendil, you can share. Or Priya, how do you call it?
Ma'am,
Yeah.
I'm getting error in for loop.
You are trying to execute without completing it. Type all the other things. After shop list, press and enter. Line number.
After quarter, she put comma.
That is okay. I think that shouldn't cause a problem, but you can remove the last comma from line 85.
Okay.
After butter, there is a comma, no? You can remove it. Shift enter. Now, after shopping list, press enter, not shift enter, just enter. Now print X. Print within bracket X. Now press shift and enter, it will work.
Okay.
So you try to execute without completing it, that's why.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Hello,
So I think let's stop for the day. Any doubts? Anybody? Any issues you're facing?
ma'am. I'm sharing my screen. Can
Yeah,
you share?
Pranav mostly, yeah, you can share.
Okay.
Pranav
Is
mostly
it
we
visible?
using Jupyter Notebook only for doing your development, but the IDE is up to you. You can use anything you want.
Is it visible, ma'am?
No.
I don't know why it's not okay.
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, my Jupyter notebook is not pop up. It's
Yeah, that,
open and suddenly it's closed.
I don't know
Yes,
what.
ma'am.
Okay, just a moment. Let me check Vivek's. Yeah.
Ma'am, this is the work that we have done today. For saving this, I have to go to file.
Or you can just click the save icon just below that.
This one.
Just click it.
And for tomorrow, if I have to open, then how to do?
You have to open Jupyter Notebook, and
Okay.
then the home page you will see your folder name. You have to go inside, and from there you have to open it. Close it. Okay. Anything else?
Ma'am,
Yeah. Let's see anyone else has any issues.
that
Okay. If you all don't have any issues, you can drop off. Yeah, Preeti, this kind of issues, it is something to do with your system.
no, I can't do anything. And from 2 days I trying to open that window, but this is not showing, ma'am. It's open and suddenly it's closed.
Yeah, then better use Colab only if you have problem on your system. Right, so you can work on Colab only. Only thing is it will get saved in the Sendil Priya wants to say something.
Sorry, ma'am.
Yesterday, I think for her only, we tried through the navigator.
Yeah, ma'am.
Maybe she's saying that won't close. You can try that.
Ma'am, through recording classes, ma'am.
No. Through your navigator. Can you share your screen?
Yeah, ma'am.
So how did you open your Jupyter notebook? Instead of that, open Anaconda Navigator. Close this. Close it. Search for Anaconda Navigator, and from there, if you open your notebook, it may not close. If it is still closing, it is better to use Colab.
Okay.
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, can I share my screen? Actually, I was saving the drive which you have sent right now, the link. But when trying to open it, it's not taking me to that page, ma'am.
Okay, hold on. Let me check Preeti's thing.
Yeah. Thanks.
Anaconda
it's not.
Navigator is already running, right? So you have to close this. You can just say okay. Say okay. Again, say okay. Okay. Now remind me later. Yeah. Now scroll down. Close this. Scroll down. Jupyter notebook went off. Scroll up. Left side. Click on launch. Hold on, it will open.
Ma'am,
Google Chrome.
Jupyter and Python both are same.
Yeah, ma'am.
Just always say always. Yeah. So maybe you can try like this.
Okay, thank you. Can I stop sharing, ma'am?
Yeah, you can stop.
Thank you.
Yeah, somebody was Sunita, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, you can share your screen.
So when I save that link here, ma'am, I'm trying to open this link. It's not taking me to the page actually.
Just make it your, click on favorite and it will work. Can you click on the link from the chat? Or it's there, no? VAC February 18, Google. Go up. No, the other tab. No, minimize this.
You will get it from your Zoom window,
This is what it's looking
That
actually.
one.
Zoom
That
chat
means
window.
on top you have click on that. Make this favorite. Click on the favorite thing. I think it's already favorite.
Added actually.
Then it should be there in your favorites bar, no? Open
Favorite bar is invisible currently. Yes.
Bookmarks
Press
bar.
Ctrl Shift B. Yeah, it will be visible then. Right
Sorry?
click on it, then it Ctrl Shift plus B.
Okay, click on it. Yeah, can you open a new tab and try that? No, it won't be there. So now you do your Control Shift B.
See, it is there now on the top side,
Can you see in the top
the left side.
top left?
Okay. Yeah.
Click on it.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay, anybody else has any issues?
Ma'am, whatever the information or the data you share, you will be saving under this link, right? Because if sometimes it's not possible for us to join the live class, we will listen to the recordings.
Yeah, that's why I created a link. Otherwise, people keep asking me to
Able
share.
to see the file. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
It will be there. All right, fine. Then let me stop for the day. Right. So see you all tomorrow.